Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Valley Economic Alliance's Veterans Jobs and Entrepreneurship Summit. I'm Sonia Blake, President and CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance, and I am thrilled that we're doing this program here today. As some of you may know, the Alliance was founded in the wake of the 1994 Northrop earthquake. And we have been helping our community to be resilient and to recover from disasters and respond to opportunities in the marketplace ever since. So it's awesome to have these wonderful speakers with us today, and we're very thrilled to be focusing in on how we can really support our community of veterans in the San Fernando region, specifically in terms of how they can reach financial self-sufficiency through successful entrepreneurship and through finding good paying jobs and upskilling so that they can command higher salaries and wages and really continue to benefit being in our community. So the mission of the Alliance is very much about convening our city partners, our government officials, our businesses in the area, educational institutions, nonprofits, and residents, all coming together to see what we can do to build our community and to improve our economy. There are 5 cities that we work with, and in addition to the San Fernando Valley region of the city of Los Angeles, we serve the cities of Burbank, Glendale, Calabasas, and San Fernando. And our 5 key areas of work center on economic development, where we offer free business assistance to help companies start, grow, and thrive here in the Valley, as well as community revitalization. So really looking at our real estate and how we can help developers to develop housing and other kinds of projects that will create jobs in our region. Secondly, we work on education and workforce development. So we're really working with our local educators to close the gap and help job seekers find training and find positions with our local employers. Thirdly, we help create and promote livable and sustainable communities. So we really look at regional planning and environmental sustainability and public safety, all those quality of life issues that factor into whether a company or a resident would want to stay and locate here in the Valley. We try to make it just a wonderful place to live, work, play, learn, and shop. We also help promote the Valley in terms of our reputation as a great place to come and to business and to patronize local companies. And so we market the Valley to potential businesses to come move in and tourists as well. And then finally, we're really promoting an equitable development in our Valley. So diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're really trying to close the gap between our low-income communities as well as everyone, so that everyone can partake of the great community development and opportunities for economic advancement. So I think that covers our introduction. I really want to thank our sponsors that helped us to put together programs like this. And it's the USSBA is a wonderful supporter of our business assistance program, as well as Wells Fargo. And we're very grateful for that support. We're also thankful for our additional supporters, CSUN, that's Cal State University Northridge, Cathay Bank, LA Mission College, Pierce College, LA Valley College, Glendale Community College, Goodwill, Express Employment, Pacific Western Bank, Van Nuys Airport, and the San Fernando Valley Business Journal. Just so you know, the replay will be available on the Alliance's website at thevalley.net/events. So if the team can pop that link in the chat, you'll have that handy, and you'll be able to access some great information going into the future. We have a wonderful set of presenters with us, and we're very excited to get started and introduce them to you today. We're going to start with speakers on entrepreneurship for veterans, and then we're going to move into some of the job resources that are available. So to introduce our first presenter, Sabrina Abousaleh, Lead Business Opportunity Specialist with the USSBA LA District Office. Sabrina joined the SBA at the Nevada District Office in January of 2015, a veteran with several deployment tours overseas and a former general manager of a lead construction company. She has over 20 years of experience in business and management. As lead business opportunity specialist at the LA District Office, Sabrina manages the 8A Business Development Program portfolio and assists qualified small businesses with the federal government contracting certification. I will go ahead and pass the proverbial mic over to Sabrina at this time for a lovely presentation, very informative. Thank you, Sabrina, for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sonia, for having me today. I'm pleased to join you as we celebrate the National Veteran Small Business Week. And on behalf of SBA, I would like to thank all our veterans and their families for their sacrifices to our country. And of course, a special thanks for the Valley Economic Alliance organization and their team for their continuous effort in supporting our business community. Of course, SBA is devoted for supporting small businesses in our community. And today I will go over a few programs that we provide specifically for veterans. Randy, if please, you can share. Yes, next, please. Next slide, Randy, thank you. So in this presentation, I will give you an overview of the Veterans Program provided by our Office of Veteran Business Development. SBA honors and support veterans, and our VBD office is devoted exclusively to promoting veteran entrepreneurship. The OVBD facilitates the use of SBA programs by veteran, service-disabled veterans, reservists, active duty service members, transitioning service members, and of course, their dependents and survivors. Next, please. So veteran-owned businesses are a pillar of the US economy. And at SBA, we do our best to create the next generation of veteran small business owners by empowering our veterans and provide them with the tools to succeed. SBA provides veterans, including the transitioning service members, National Guard, reserve members, and military spouses with counseling, training, education, access to capital, contracting opportunities, and of course, disaster assistance when needed. Next, please. To support our veteran small business owners, SBA provides several free training programs, access to federal contracting opportunities, disaster assistance, access to capital, and many others. Here's a list of our programs for those who are interested. Feel free to contact us. As we see, we have various programs that serve all groups. We have some that are dedicated for women veterans, service-disabled veterans, transitioning veterans, and everyone. We're trying to find something that fits every need. The disaster assistance is a great benefit as well, in case the reservists get called to duty, which will impact the business, so they can have access to the disaster assistance in order to avoid losing their business due to their development. The federal contracting as well, it's a great certification and give advantage for veteran in the federal market. Every federal agency has to meet at least 3% of their yearly goal is dedicated for veteran. And it's a great advantage. We encourage everyone to take it, to use it. For the latest FY 2021, we exceeded the 3% goal, and we reached the 4.41%, which is great. Next, please. So to ensure that our veterans has the support needed to succeed, we collaborated with over 30 grantees and resource partners to provide them with all services listed under the OVBD mission priorities. This is a list of all the training programs available for free to our veterans, and I will try to cover briefly each one of them as we go. Next, please. So to extend our support to our veterans, we collaborated with the Veteran Business Outreach Center, the VBOC. They're very popular in the community. We have a total of 22 centers nationwide with full services in all areas. They can assist with federal contracting, certification as well, mentor protege agreement, business plan, market research, all other business needs. So whatever you need, you can reach out to any of the VBOC center, and they have experts in all fields. Next, please. Another popular program, it's a Boot to Business and Reboot. These are very popular training programs for veterans who are ready to transition, or for one who already out of the service, but they decided to start a business. It's a 2 days training that covers the basic needed info to start a business. It is available nationwide, and the VBOC are the lead SBA resource partner in regard to the Boot to Business program. So if you are interested and you would like to check it out or register for any of the upcoming Boot to Business training, feel free to access that link listed on the slide. Next, please. This is a preview of all the Boot to Business 8-module learning objective. They cover basic information needed to start a business, from the business ownership intro to market research, the economic aspect, the financial, what to expect, the registration, legal, introducing the business planning, and have all the basic ready for someone to establish their business. It's very beneficial, although it's covered the basic, but it's a great ground to start up. So we encourage everyone to take advantage of that training. We try to have it more than once per year, and it's available nationwide as well. And we have online courses for people who cannot attend in person. Next, please. So these are more advanced training programs. It's a 6-week training program, which is more intense. And as a prerequisite, it requires a Boot to Business or Reboot before they register for this kind of training. And as we see, we have the Ascent as well. We partnership with the Department of Labor, Department of Transportation, and the Treasury Department to create this online learning platform that utilize e-learning approach is specifically targeted for women business owners who want to grow their existing businesses. It is very beneficial, and again, it's targeted for women, so we encourage all women veterans to take advantage of that program. Next, please. These training programs are specifically dedicated for women veterans as well. We have the ONABEN, which is this program is for Native American nonprofit organization, and it's deliver economic and entrepreneurial development services for all the Native American business community. We greatly encourage you to check it out as each other program as well, because each program is unique with a specifically dedicated to certain needs. So we don't have the time to go specifically in details to each one. I'm just giving you a preview, very quick due to the time limitation. However, if you are interested, just feel free to contact us and we will provide you more details. Sorry. Next, please. So these training programs, they're specifically dedicated for service-disabled veterans. Again, there's more than one, and each one has certain criteria that fits certain needs. So feel free to check it out and contact us for further details. Next, please. Part of the benefit that we provide at SBA is access to capital. And the latest update as of October 1st of 2021, the SBA expressed loan maximum was increased to $500,000. Also, the CARE Act reduced permanently the upfront SBA guarantee fee to $0 for all the SBA express loans made to business that are owned by veteran or spouse of a veteran. And this is a great benefit and an advantage that we would like all our veterans to utilize. Also, the annual ongoing servicing fee, which is 0.49% for the guaranteed portion of the principal loan balance, will be charged to the lender, not to the veteran. So that's another advantage. And again, as I mentioned, the disaster assistance loan for those who get called to duty, it's a great benefit to take advantage of in order to prevent any loss. Next, please. So the veteran-owned small business certification is a very beneficial and very popular. Like I said, all federal agencies, they have to meet the minimum of 3% yearly goal every year. And it gives them access to set aside and sole source contract, which is no one can get those unless they are certified. So we encourage everyone to check the eligibility requirement and take advantage of this certification. Is very beneficial. And just something to mention as the latest update, the VA verification process will transfer to SBA by January 1st, 2023. For those who are already certified, the SBA administrator is going to grant 1 year grace period. So their certification will be valid until January of 2024. And now, this is just to facilitate the transition process and to make it easy on all the veterans so they don't have to go through any hiccups that may create any problems for them getting to federal contracting or prevent them from getting any offer. Next, please. Finally, we have the Veteran Federal Procurement Entrepreneurship Training Program. We call it VIP. It's a 3 days intensive training program. It is held in Maryland, and it is very, very extremely beneficial for those who they already have established their business and they would like to grow their business and increase their revenue. For those who qualify to participate, all what they need to do is just pay for their airfare. SBA will cover their living expenses during the training. So housing will be provided, personal expenses, everything will be covered. The only out of pocket will be the airfare. We highly encourage people who qualify to apply. And this is the website, they can check it out and contact us if they need any further info. Next, please. So this will conclude the presentation for today. I know it was lots of information and I didn't have enough time to provide more detail for each program. But again, feel free for those who are interested or would like to learn more about the SBA programs or any collaboration that we do with our resource partner or community partners, feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to assist you and go over the details and help you with the registration, or at least guide you to who to contact. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Sonia, for having us today. Thank you for everyone's time. I'm happy to be with a wonderful group, and happy Veterans Day for everyone. Thank you, Randy, for assisting.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sabrina. That was such an information-packed presentation and just what we needed to give us a taste of what's available. And I think what really comes across is there is a wealth of information and resources and support for our veteran community, which is something that we are very excited about sharing and making sure that those who have given so much can receive a lot of these really helpful resources. So thank you for partnering up with us in enabling that to happen. So so I want to encourage everyone to start posting questions for Sabrina in the chat if you would. And meanwhile, I'm going to introduce our other two speakers who will talk about some resources for entrepreneurship. And then we will move on to the next segment of our program to deal specifically with employment and job opportunities for our veterans as well. So our next panelist on entrepreneurship is Jack Ochoa, founder of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Jack has been a business and community leader dedicated to supplier diversity and inclusion for more than 25 years. He has held various positions with top-tier corporations and small business associations, minority business groups, and education outreach organizations all across Southern California. And he's been especially instrumental in designing and writing small business enterprise and veteran-owned small business procurement policies that continue to be utilized today. In April of 2019, Jack and a group of veterans started the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Its mission is to offer all military veterans the support, resources, and education that will further develop their business and personal lives. And we're very excited to have him here with us. I also want to introduce our third panelist, Vic Hill, who is CEO of Hill Visions Holding Incorporated and entrepreneur and ambassador for Bunker Labs. So Hill Vision Holdings is a boutique holding firm based in LA with interests and investments spanning areas of real estate, tech, media, philanthropy, and other areas. Vic grew up in Compton and Inglewood. He's a veteran who served both overseas and stateside as an intelligence officer and commander in the U.S. Army and California Army National Guard. He serves as the entrepreneur ambassador of Bunker Labs, which is a national veteran business incubator with a strong presence in LA. And very excited to have these two amazing leaders in our community with us today. And I want to start with a question for Jack. And Jack, you've done so much amazing work in this space on behalf of veterans and others, but start off by telling us just about yourself, whatever you want to share, but in particular, tell us about how the Chamber was founded and how it furthers the interest of veteran business owners.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Sonia, for the invitation. So, full disclosure, I didn't tell anybody I was a veteran until 2019. So January 2019, I finally opened up that I was a veteran. And so all of a sudden they're like, but Jack, you have all this knowledge. Why don't you help us out? And I'm like, but because I never held the gun and I never went overseas, in my mind, I was never a veteran. That's how I saw it. And what I discovered is that there's a lot of veterans that are out there that own a business, but they never tell anybody. And a lot of it came from fear of, retaliation from our community, fear of just like how we would be treated, fear of I had a close friend of mine who unfortunately COVID took him, but before he died, one of the things he said is he didn't tell anybody because he was afraid of getting spit on. I'm like, excuse me? And he was a Vietnam guy, so he still had flashbacks of that. So it encouraged me to say, what do we need to do different in order to provide all the resources in one place? So we started looking at the little things a little bit differently and said, why don't we create an organization like a chamber that can basically have all these resources in one place? So what we started doing is developing these policies. Let's start working on what was already out there, right? Let's look at resources, because a lot of times what happens is a veteran will get lost. And Sonia will know, as somebody who used to work in the city of LA, people will get lost in the sea of information. Because what happens is a lot of times it's like, it seems overwhelming. And of course, it needs to be more like step by step, a kind of a slower process. And so when we were developing the mission, we said, let's make sure that we're looking at the whole veteran, not just on one element of the veteran. So we need to look at their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, as well as their business. Because we made a lot of veterans that are out there, they don't tell anybody. They just don't want anybody to know, which I'm guilty as charged. I didn't want anybody to know. It was kind of like my own business. So it was very personal to me to finally let people know that I was a veteran. And I said, well, one of the first missions was to create a disabled veteran program in California, because as we all know, Californians do things a little bit differently. So we made sure that policy for the disabled veteran business enterprise was created in a much simpler format than the one for the feds, because the federal one is overwhelming. And so the state said, let's make ours simple so that we can get more veterans in the system. So one of the actions that I did, and I got challenged by a fellow veteran, he said, why don't we make a policy that includes all veterans? Now, I won't say what state, but it's a state on the other side of the ocean, on the other side of the continent, who said there is no way that that's going to happen. For a local government to say, yes, we're going to include all veterans, not going to happen. Well, they don't know me. And so the LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District, the second largest school district in the country, has a 3-page document that can be filled out, and the company will be included with the second largest school district as long as they're a veteran business. A DD-214, a letter that says that they do more than 30 hours, and an actual business. That's it. We wanted to make it simple so that we can include all veterans and not just ones that will say, well, I'm disabled, because a lot of veterans won't say they're disabled. They don't want to go through the process of going to the VA, which Jack is guilty. I won't do it. I won't do it. I don't want to go through that. So I would rather just say, you know what, I'm a veteran and I'm a business owner and I'm successful at what I can do. And Sonia wanted me to tie this into what I'm doing. So the city of LA created a platform that includes outreach to the entire region. It's called RAMP, so rampla.org. So it went out for bid. I made sure that in my solicitation, we said, hey, we want to include all veterans and we want to include the entire community and not just the city of LA. So part of our success of that program is that we're reaching out to 88 cities, not just the city of LA. We're including everybody. And so we'll get places that'll tell us, they're like, nobody has ever reached out to us. And they're over in Paramount. They're like, well, nobody's ever talked to us from the city. We're the first. And I'm like, we've been around for how many years? And this is the first time you're hearing communication. It goes back to the communication to each other, right? It's how do we include our brothers and sisters to know that it's okay to let people know you're a veteran, because it's about helping each other out. And so I know I've actually spoken a couple of times at Bunker Labs. And so I'm like, yes, we need to help each other, because they say it, we say it, the SBA says it, we want to help each other, but we don't know where to go. So our website, veteranschamber.com, is being developed right now to add the different pillars, which include jobs, because a lot of people want to hire veterans. Cedars-Sinai has 1,000 openings right now for veterans. I'm like, hello. There are different companies here in Southern California that say, hey, we want to post jobs to help move out, because maybe a veteran doesn't want to own a business. So maybe they just want to go work somewhere. Yes, by all means. And so why not be that resource that helps the veteran know how to go through the process? Make it easy. Let's not overcomplicate the situation, right? And so that's one of the things that in all my years of doing this is a little bit of hand-holding goes a long way. And so that's what we see us as, that resource to do that little extra hand-holding to make sure that if the resource like Bunker Labs is available, I want to be able to go, hey, well, for you need to go here. Or hey, for this program that the SBA has, here's where you go and here's how you fill out the form. Is kind of walk them through it and show them that it's not that bad. It may take time, but time is it's really more about managing that time. So I think that's where my passion came out to say, let's do something different and collaborate with other chambers. Like today, I'm here with the LAX Coastal Chamber of Commerce. They're a partner of ours. They even offered us an office. They're like, hey, why don't you come once a week and come here and be a resource for us? So we're collaborating with many chambers across the region and business organizations say, hey, let's work together and not against each other. And again, we want to figure out how we help our fellow veterans out. They are not letting anybody know, so we got to let them know it's safe to let us know that they're veterans. So I'm not sure if Vic is experiencing that, so I'm going to hand it over to Vic, because I want Vic to talk about Bunker Labs.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate that. Such great comments. And yes, let's hear from Vic. Vic, tell us a little bit about Bunker Labs and your own business, how you got started, and how does a business incubator like Bunker Labs work? And how does a business obtain mentoring and support and whatever else you offer? Vic?
Yeah, thank you. So first off, thanks for inviting us. Bunker Labs has been in LA for years now, and we're still making sure we can figure everything out and ramp up entrepreneurs. So Bunker Labs, we're a non-capital contributing startup accelerator for the military connected community, which, like Jack already mentioned, covers the whole gamut, whether you identify or not, dependents, military spouses, National Guard, Reserve, and such. So to answer your question really quickly, Jack, I did go through that because I started in the Army National Guard, and I joined pretty late and did not identify myself as a veteran. Having parents and grandparents, uncles who have gone through, been a part of different wars. So it took me a while, but that's what kind of sparked my own, startup. And that's what had me find Bunker Labs in 2019. So Bunker Labs, we have multiple, it's nationwide. I'm just the Los Angeles ambassador with my counterpart, Sarah Van Els, who's a military spouse of a Navy veteran. And she is a very successful entrepreneur here in Los Angeles. So the program that we run here is called the Veterans in Residence Program. We take on anywhere from 10 to 12 per cohort for 6 months, and we run 2 cohorts per year. We'll be deciding tomorrow who's going to be starting the very next cohort with us. And it's looking like about 12 entrepreneurs have made it this time from an application pool of about 75. So generally what we do is we assess them up and down. You know, we go through their numbers, we provide weekly calls with that Sarah and I, the other ambassador, lead. And then we also push them towards the biweekly national calls that Bunker Labs National puts on. And the national calls are largely driven by our partners through Bunker Labs. So we partner with USAA, JP Morgan Chase, Macy's, and a new one that they just added is Local Vest. And the target for us, at least in Los Angeles, is to get these businesses and entrepreneurs ready for the next stage, which would either be a capital contributing accelerator like Y Combinator, Techstars, Long Beach Accelerator out here where I currently sit, or increase their revenue baseline. So I go through, along with Sarah, go through their profit and loss statements, take a look at their operations, and we kind of have a 1-2 punch, whereas she has a different skill set than I, where I've raised institutional capital and have, you know, company valued at this, and I take a more technical approach to implemented AI technologies. So I'm a very technical in operations, whereas Sarah comes in and helps out with marketing, branding, and there's some crossover as well. So Bunker also has a CEO circle, which is kind of the natural progression. So I went through the VIR, Veterans in Residence program myself in 2019. Then I had to deploy. I'm still in the Army National Guard as an intelligence commander out here in Long Beach. So I deployed, came back, and then I became an ambassador. And I've been doing that for 2 years now, 2 to 3 years now. And the progression from being an ambassador or going through the VIR is to be a part of the CEO circle. A CEO circle is folks who have, you know, $5 million in revenue and have raised institutional capital, or are executives at organizations that can offer either employment or partnerships through contracts. So that's the long and short of the opening for Bunker Labs. We have a showcase coming up December 7th, and we're always looking to partner with local organizations, because one of the biggest things that we found is that with our cohorts, the community aspect is second to none. People are able to leverage their experience, both in the military, out of the military, in business, or working for an employer, and help these entrepreneurs move forward. So we take a lot of pride in offering our volunteer time. Sarah and I are volunteers as well, and our entire goal is to make sure these guys are successful.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you, Vic. Really, really appreciate those great comments. So now just in general for the panel, I'd love to hear you just share a little bit about like what do you wish veterans knew? What are you finding that are the stumbling blocks, or where people are getting stuck, especially, it could be with regard to, your particular area of knowledge and entrepreneurship, or in general, but maybe we'll just start with Vic and just share, and then also part 2 question, Vic, you shared that great event. So that's great. I'd love to have everybody maybe even share a little bit, if you know of any upcoming activities that folks should know about. So Vic, what do you think? What do you want veterans to really know about where they're getting stuck, and what opportunities they really should know about?
I think everyone in the military connected community, there's a misconception of if they can do it, And it goes both ways. It also translates to the employment and underemployment issues that are in the community, right? It's, I've been in for 15 years, 20 years, but I don't have any experience. I'm like, reevaluate, all the things that you have done, whether you've been in for 4 or 20 or 30, there's all of these aspects that have contributed to your career, and they are translatable. It's just a matter of opening your mouth and saying like, hey, like I need some assistance in translating this experience. I have this idea, or I want to go here. I want to go work at Accenture. Okay, I know a program. Like I want to go become a project manager. Cool, IBMF, easy. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I found is that many second guess themselves once the uniform comes off.
Yes, that is so,
Yeah.
so insightful. Okay, thank you for that. And Jack, anything to add about what you really want people to know about so that they can overcome hurdles and take advantage of opportunities?
Right. So I'm actually going to use something that somebody that went through one of my classes said, actually in a class that I did in Inglewood pre-COVID. And so I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, Jack, so what you're saying is don't hate the player, hate the game. And I'm like, excuse me? And I'm like going, whoa, what do you mean? And so he explained to me, he goes, so what you're saying is there is a small business program at the airport, but there's not a minority or a woman-owned program at the airport. I said, well, wait a minute. Look, you happen to be a minority or you happen to be a woman, but they have a 25% goal for small business and a good faith effort for everything else. So why don't you get certified as a small business in order to get in the door? If you don't want to tell anybody you're a veteran, and that certification to get certified as small only requires 3 documents. You're like, hello, get it done and just kind of get in the game, show people that what you can do and show them your talent. So I think it's just, you got to play the game and you have to get good at it. And then just take some of your experience that you did in combat or non-combat and just take it and leverage it here, because the businesses out there are looking for you and they just can't find you because you won't identify.
Yes, thank you for that. So helpful. Okay. And then Jack, if you have ideas for other events coming up, if you don't mind putting that in the chat, or if you just mention it real quick, because you don't look like you're not necessarily near a keyboard, but did you know?
Yeah, I'm not near a keyboard. So later today, actually it's tomorrow at the USS Iowa in Long Beach, they're going to be doing a rollout of a film that's related to, again, written by a veteran, I believe. And so it'll be at the USS Iowa. It's today. So it's supposed to be, I want to say at 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's supposed to be an evening event. So I will have to send that to Sonia on a separate email because I don't remember the exact link, but I do know that if you go USS Iowa and then you put tomorrow's date on it, it should come up on Google. So I would recommend, it's cool, a cool event. There's a lot of activity out there. And for those people that don't know, and I just found this out myself, if you do not have your veteran card or your ID, if you go to the actual app, it's actually called ID. It's actually called ID Me. So ID, so the letter I, M with the D, .me. It's a federal website where you can actually go and register yourself so that you can actually have a veteran ID. So you don't have to go through the paperwork of having to wait like months and months and months. I would recommend that you go get that app, download it on your phone. It will require you to verify twice, once on your computer and then once on via text. But the verification is to verify that you are in fact a veteran. So that becomes your ID.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Jack. And we got that link in the chat there, so you can check that out. And now I want to hear from Sabrina. Just any final thoughts before we move on to the second segment of our program. Any final thoughts on what you're seeing and what you really just in your heart of hearts want veterans to know so they can capitalize on every opportunity available?
Sure. I would like to agree with what Vic mentioned about a lot of veterans. We see that they have great ideas, but they're hesitant to apply or to bring that idea to reality. And most veterans, they should be aware that our US military has the best training ever. So already when you serve and you leave the service, you're already equipped with all these great skills that you can utilize. Plus our veterans, they are goal-oriented and they have high sense of duty and they can adapt to any situation. So if they just, have more self-confidence that they can do it and take advantage of all the programs that, the Chambers is offering, SBA is offering, all our community partners and resource partners they're offering, they can just make it happen. So again, especially with the federal contracting, we see a lot of veterans that they don't apply because they think, oh, we cannot make it. Oh, it's very hard to get in. Oh, there's a lot of paperwork. No one said it's gonna be magic stick where you're gonna just show that you're a veteran and next day you're gonna be a millionaire with a #1 business in US. But if you just put the effort and take advantage, utilizing all these programs and support that the community is offering for you, I'm 100% that we have a lot of success stories that we can share that it will encourage them to take advantage and have more confidence to do it. And I'm sure, they're gonna succeed. So take advantage. We, encourage all our veterans to contact us, learn more about these programs, and we can help them step by step to bring this idea to life and, become business owners. So they have a lot of potential. It's just they need to, act on it.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Well, I'm hoping that this wonderful panel today will help people have the confidence and the inspiration and motivation to take that next step and to go all the way with the resources provided. So I just want to thank you, Sabrina, Jack, and Vic, for being with us today, for your heart for the community, and for the amazing expertise that you bring. If any of you are available to look in the chat, we have a couple of really great comments there and questions and asking for guidance on certain questions. So please do weigh in and respond back in the chat while I go ahead and introduce the next segment. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Vic, for putting your contact information into the chat. I encourage everyone to do that as well. And now we're going to talk about some employment opportunities. So we have another amazing panel ahead. I don't know if all of you know, but there are close to 44,000 veterans living in the San Fernando Valley. And that figure was from 2020, and about 3% of our population. And so we want to do all that we can to help every single one of them to have every opportunity to thrive in our region. And for many, that begins with a good paying job. So I'm really thrilled to have with us one of our partners, Wells Fargo, that will talk about some of that and some of the opportunities available. So I'd like to introduce Henry DeRussell, Recruitment Associate and Talent Acquisition Strategy and Delivery with Wells Fargo and Company. So as part of the talent acquisition strategy and delivery team, Henry is responsible for supporting all aspects of the recruiting, hiring, and onboarding process, in addition to implementing various strategy and methods for mitigating risk for the bank while recruiting and sourcing talent. So Henry is currently on a team of recruiters supporting military veteran hires in branch banking positions. So he recently celebrated 17 years with Wells Fargo in April 2022. And he worked his way up from teller to service manager before moving into human resources. So, so excited, Henry, to have you with us. Really thrilled about our partnership together and that we get to hear from you today. So please do go ahead and share your presentation.
Definitely. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for the warm introduction. Definitely appreciate that. And thank you for everybody's time today and discussing the military veteran teller event that we have going on. This is our third segment of the year for having it here at Wells Fargo in regards to military veterans and their spouses. And so thank you for letting me share today. And so I just want to talk a little bit about Wells Fargo and the careers for military veterans that Wells Fargo partakes in. We are committed to hiring and retaining military veterans, veterans with disabilities, and active military personnel as well. And we support our uniformed services team members who return to work after duty and active duty with a variety of jobs, confidential resources, educational information, and career guidance. I'm not sure if you've known, but 50% of our veteran team members have been with the company for 5 or more years. And I do have the link right there on the top for the careers for military veterans to our website. So go ahead and click that to get some additional information as well. Currently, Wells Fargo has over 9,000 self-identified veteran employees, and I know that's been a topic, with just a little bit ago. But a lot of our team members don't self-identify, but we want to, kind of like urge them to do so, so that they could be in contact with other like-minded military veterans or whatnot within the Wells Fargo company. And so, we do have programs to, kind of talk about it. And we also have the employee resource network, to have them come together as well and share their experiences and of course, network. And then additional support from team members is education. One of the biggest things here at Wells Fargo, the hiring managers, educating them, how do military veterans translate all those experiences that they've attained throughout their years serving, and educating them on how that's translated into their job of a teller role or other branch banking positions. And as a result, the company offers many online and virtual training courses for managers and team members out there that are at our disposal. And like I mentioned, employee resource networks. We have the Veteran Employee Resource Network its mission is to support and educate members of our Wells Fargo community who share an interest in veteran matters. The group networks with employees in the community through outreach efforts to promote greater veteran awareness and share opportunities that enhance the professional growth and development of its membership. One of the biggest things of the ERN is mentorship. And so they like to foster that mentorship. They have about 2 cohorts per year, and they've been doing that for a couple of years now. It's very successful, helping just different employees in different lines of businesses, help grow within their career path. And then the reemployment and job search assistance. When employees take extended leave to fulfill military-related services, Wells Fargo offers reemployment following their return from military service, and be consistent with the provisions of the Uniform Service Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. So, I mean, that's definitely great. They can come back after their service and still have that that flexibility or whatnot, and also just have that sense of peace of mind that they can come back to their job and it's protected. And then, of course, outreach. Each year, the company contacts all self-identified veteran employees to share information about Wells Fargo's career development process, tools, and resources. Like I previously mentioned, it's very important that, to self-identify so that they can go ahead and have those tools and resources at their disposal. And then the pretty much, the gist of it is this military veteran teller role. It is, our third segment of it this year. And this is just a job description of what we're looking for here at Wells Fargo for the teller role itself. It is a 1+ years of customer service experience through a combination of, work experience, training, military experience, as well as education. As you can see, the desired qualifications are military experience in any branch of service, whether it be Army, National Guard, Air Force, Space Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, or Reserves, military experience in customer-facing role, and relevant military experience, including working in personnel benefits management, processing military personnel orders or transitions, wartime readiness, operations, human resources, or military recruiting. So like I mentioned just a little bit ago, it's like, how to translate those experiences that they have, to have it over into the teller role itself. And then, why Wells Fargo? Why choose working here at Wells Fargo? Well, because we understand you. We do have military talent liaison team, which is called the MTSS team for short, or the Military Talent Sourcing and Strategy team. And they are trained recruiters who have also been out there as well and currently serving as well. And So, they understand you because they've been in your shoes. And, we do have hundreds of veterans in hiring positions as well. And of course, we appreciate, just all the work that you've done and, just being, doing what you're doing and helping, the country. And we do have recognition programs throughout the year as well. And then, of course, we support you via our employee resource network, professional development, and deployed team members as well. And Wells Fargo and our relationship with the military community. In the community, we have supportive veteran service organizations, small business loans for veterans, veteran entrepreneurs, veteran-owned businesses, and veteran student scholarships. We also have financial education for online classes, local seminars, hands-on banking, and homes for veterans. Wells Fargo has donated over more than 400 homes valued at over 60 million to veterans in all 50 states. And actually myself, I was a lead just this past September for a Welcome Home volunteer event with Habitat for Humanity. And we were in Pasadena, and I wanted to build, but the house was already built, but we got to paint, which was okay, it was fun. But the homeowner was there. We got to hear about, their military involvement and, just, the steps they took, with Habitat for Humanity. And it was a very, very rewarding event, volunteer event. And then so I do have additional resources here for the link if you want to go ahead and click it. And then also there's my contact information. And I just opened today, and it's going to be open for through December 9th. I am the personal recruiter for Southland Valley, so the Valley region, and also the Los Angeles region. So I'm the liaison for the military veteran teller program right now. And so I do have the links right there, and I do have the job IDs for anyone who's interested in applying. And then I have hot off the press news. I was just reported yesterday evening at the Decatur House in DC last night. Wells Fargo was recognized with the 2022 Hiring Our Heroes Lee Anderson Veteran and Military Spouse Employment Award. That's a mouthful. But I just wanted to put here, what that is exactly. The Lee Anderson Veteran and Military Spouse Employment Award is presented to a company or organization for its overall excellence in hiring, training, and retaining veterans. You can read the rest, but it's just great, to be a part of a company that provides that to our military service members. And yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Henry. Wonderful. Congratulations on that wonderful award. That's right in your sweet spot. So we know you have a lot to do with that. That's great. And thank you for that great information and your commitment to hiring veterans. I would like to ask folks to pose in the chat any questions you may have for Henry, and then we'll go into a Q&A session after our next speaker. Several speakers, actually. We have two speakers from Northrop Grumman's aerospace sector, and we're so excited that Brian and Matt are calling in from out there in the field, and so really appreciate your making that extra effort to be with us here today. Brian Bilski is currently the lead military recruiter for Northrop Grumman's aerospace sector. Brian's responsible for outreach and building networks to the military community to provide rewarding career opportunities for veterans, transitioning service members, and their families. Before joining Northrop Grumman, Brian completed a successful 22-year career in the U.S. Marine Corps. He spent the majority of his career as a helicopter pilot, and the last 5 years in charge of transition for the Marine Corps Wounded Warrior Regiment. And he was awarded the prestigious Spirit of Hope Award by the Secretary of Defense, an award that goes to individuals whose work benefits the quality of life of service members and their families. So we're so very grateful for Brian's commitment to this work and his accomplishments. And we're going to hear from him and his team member, Matt Gaskin. So Matt is the military recruiter for Northrop Grumman's aerospace sector as well. And Matt is responsible for outreach, building networks, and connecting veterans with rewarding career opportunities as well. Prior to Northrop Grumman, Matt had 7 years at the Department of Defense recruiting within the aerospace defense sector, working with companies like L3, Harris, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. So he's got a breadth of perspective on those. And so I'd love to hear now from Brian and Matt. I guess we'll start with Brian, and please just share with us a little bit about what you're working on at Northrop Grumman, and what are you seeing are some of the challenges and opportunities for our veterans seeking employment.
All right. Well, hey, thank you very much. This is Brian. And actually, Matt went to go talk to a veteran about a skill bridge opportunity. So we're at a hiring event here in Salt Lake City. So anyway, thank you for that introduction. And first of all, happy Veterans Day, early for all our veterans out there. And then, of course, for all our Marines, happy Marine Corps birthday today. So that's great. So some of the challenges, I think what it is, first of all, I just want to say thanks to the SBA. I remember back in about 2010-11, when I was with the Marine Corps Wounded Warrior Regiment, we actually did the pilot for Boots to Business with Dr. Haney and IVMF. And, fortunately that they took it and ran with it, and it's been an amazing successful. And then same thing with Bunker Labs, amazing program. Actually, one of our Marines, Blake Hogan, now is the CEO for Bunker Labs, and he was with us at the Wounded Warrior Regiment and also with the entrepreneurship program. So great entrepreneurship opportunities for those folks. Anyway, some of the challenges, I think, reality, our service members coming out, transitioning service members, veterans, as someone said, they have the skills, right? We just sometimes don't know how to translate it. Or if they don't know, getting the skills that they need. Our veterans, and transitioning service members have a lot of resources out there, a lot of opportunities. And especially here at Northrop Grumman, we have something for almost all service members that are transitioning. Almost, and I'd have a brief, but basically any of those MOSs that come out of the military are translatable into something. It's just a matter of how do we translate it. And so, going to the TAP, using mentors, reaching out, I know a lot of us as service members, it's hard for us to ask for help. So I would say, when you're transitioning from the service member, start early. Utilize, your TAP programs, utilize those resources, nonprofits, also inside the, TAP programs, and translate those resumes. Because what I see the biggest challenge is, they don't write the resumes to fit to job descriptions. And a lot of times that I can't, I could spend a whole hour talking about the whole recruiting process, but the reality is, the resumes don't fit the job descriptions. And so for, me as a veteran recruiter, I can see through that and help them out. But when you think about Northrop Grumman, we probably had thousands of recruiters. Not all of them are veterans, so they can't translate those skills into, what the job description entails. So that's the biggest challenge. Skills, right? A lot of times people apply for opportunity that they are not, what would I say, qualified for. And especially for companies like Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, a lot of our business is written into contracts. So those skill sets need to be matched. So I think what I always ask veterans to do is like, hey, if that job does not equate to what you have, either one, go get it, right? You have your GI Bill. There's also a lot of training opportunities. We work with many schools. We have Northrop Grumman Military University, where we actually work with colleges and universities to set up job training skills, and so that they can get those skill sets needed to find career opportunities within Northrop Grumman. But those are some of the main things that we have, I see as challenges with.
Thank you, Brian. And remind our listeners about what the TAP is, and then.
Sure. Yeah, it's called the Transition Assistance Program. Basically, it's a program that's run through Department of Defense for all service members who are transitioning, and it's in partnership with the Department of Labor and also with the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. And so it's a week-long program.
Thank you. And tell us about the Northrop Grumman program and the program that you're promoting at the job fair today. Tell us more about some of the special initiatives that you have going on for veterans.
Well, I have a brief. Can I share my brief?
Yes.
To talk about Northrop? Okay.
Certainly.
Okay, I'll share my screen.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, so this is Northrop Grumman. I'll go through this and share some of the programs that we have within Northrop Grumman. Again, my name's Brian Bilski. I also have Ken Friend and Matt Gaskin, who also work with me. So bottom line, why I think Northrop Grumman is a great fit for our service members. And, you know, after spending 22 plus years within the military, our values align directly with those of the military. You know, we do the right thing. We do what we promise. We work together as a team and, you know, commit to shared success. A little bit about Northrop Grumman is we are a leading global security company. We have over $36 billion in recent sales, you know, internationally and domestically, with over 81 billion in backlog. What that means is we have a lot of work for our transitioning service members and veterans for years to come. Okay, we have over 97,000 employees, probably over 100,000 as we grow each day. And of that workforce, 22 enterprise-wide are veterans, and within aeronautics systems, which I'm part of, you know, 26% of our employees are veterans. We hire a lot of veterans, okay? And then the reason is, as you see the pictures on the right there, you know, and our leading capabilities in the bottom, veterans bring the skill sets and the experiences from the military that translate directly into our opportunities. So I see as Northrop Grumman as, you know, a leading employer across the country for our veterans looking for career opportunities. And we're located in 50 states and 28 different countries worldwide. So if veterans are looking for opportunities to grow, move, do external, you know, going OCONUS, or I would say, you know, internationally, we have opportunities that fit almost every location that service members are looking to go to. So a great opportunity for, you know, veterans in, you know, some of our major locations in California, Florida, Texas. Right now we're in Salt Lake City, just north of Salt Lake City. We have Clearfield, Utah, where we're doing space and we're doing, you know, F-35s, amazing programs. I'll make this kind of quick, but these are some of the programs. Skill Bridge. So Skill Bridge is a program that we work with military service members prior to transitioning. They can serve up to 180 days, do an internship while still on active duty. And as many of us know on this call right now, internships are your foot in the door to further on career opportunities. We've had over 100, you know, enterprise-wide, over 300 interns for the military. And then with our conversion rate, our goal is if they do an internship that we convert them to full-time employment. And we are over 90% of conversion rates from interns to full-time employments. And most of the reasons why they don't convert is just because of location, whether it's family, they want to go someplace else. But at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity to get their foot in the door, real life experiences that they can translate into career opportunities following the military. Operation Impact. Operation Impact is a program that we started back around 2010 to help wounded, ill, and injured service members who are transitioning from the service. It is open to all wounded, all service members, veterans who have at least a minimum of 30% DOD rated or VA ratings, disability ratings. And basically what it is, we work with them to help break down the barriers to employment. They have a concierge process where we work with them. We help create their resumes. We identify career opportunities, basically expediting their hiring process into career opportunities with Northrop Grumman. And then Veritas. Veritas is our veteran resource group. So we have, you know, veterans like to work together. They like to support each other. And so through our employee resource group, Veritas, they provide mentoring. We provide outreach. We actually do monthly calls where we're providing resources and benefits that, you know, help their families, help their spouses, and help other veterans within Northrop Grumman. And also, how do we do outreach to the community and support veteran activities and or nonprofits? Education, as I was mentioning earlier, our education resources, we have Northrop Grumman Military University with Antelope Valley Community College, where we provide free training for service members interested in the aerospace industry. And those, once they successfully complete that program, they are guaranteed an interview with Northrop Grumman. We work with College of the Canyons to do low observables and other machine, tool, and die programs. We work with Embry-Riddle. If Embry-Riddle is a major program that supports veterans on over 100 bases worldwide. And so we work with them to help support their veteran community with career opportunities. And then also Student Veterans of America. Student Veterans of America is on over 1,500 campuses throughout the country with chapters, and includes over 750,000 veterans. So we support Student Veterans of America. We represent, or we attend their conferences, and helps of providing internships and career opportunities for those veterans going through school using their GI Bill. Next is the NG6. NG6 is a program that started out in Palmdale with my manager, Ken Friend, who's also a Army First Sergeant retired. But basically it's to assist homeless veterans find meaningful employment through local community partners. So we partner with local resources, like for City of Palmdale provided 4 homes, Valley Oasis that provides counseling. We have Grace Resources that provides food and clothing. And then we also work with ABC again, with the local community, to get them any skills or training that they need. And we also work with other employers such as Lance Campers, Ford, Home Depot. So if we can't hire those young men and women, who can we also, partner with other employers to help find meaningful career opportunities for those homeless veterans. And then, I could go on and on about the military community and support, but working with Department of Veterans Affairs, their vocational rehabilitation and employment, we just participated in a national hiring event with the VOCRE VR&E program. We work with their Vet Tech program, which is a program that assists veterans training for IT skills and cybersecurity, programming, software. So providing opportunities following their training and education, working with the Department of Defense, again, working through their TAP programs, doing base visits, doing hiring events. We're doing a hiring event out here near Hill Air Force Base, supporting our facilities up here. I think in the last 3 days, we had a networking event, which was over 300 people attend. And from that networking event, we had over 200 interviews. And as of yesterday, we had over 86 offers. They weren't all veterans, but a large majority were from the National Guard, Reserves, and our Hill Air Force Base. So again, reaching out to the community and including the veteran in that community. And then again, can't go through all the resources and all the programs on the right there, but again, just doing whatever we can do to help, support veteran employment, and career opportunities. And then last, I'll just finish up with this. We have a robust military career page, where veterans can go and find and search careers within Northrop Grumman at that link on the top. We have a skills translator where they can translate their military experience and opportunities, tips on transition, resumes, interviews, amazing opportunities. And I showed you that middle screen. That's join our talent community, where veterans can go in, insert their information, and be contacted by someone from our military team. Then lastly, on the right there is the Veteran Monthly Military Call. So we have a monthly call, virtual call, that we brief and reach out to the military community, service members, veterans, to talk about all the opportunities and resources within Northrop Grumman, and to help them, whether it's with Northrop Grumman. To me, I just want to help veterans find opportunities, whether it's Northrop, Wells Fargo, you name it, Citibank, who cares, at the end of the day, so that they have a career opportunity that they can support for their families and their children. That's our whole main goal. And that's it in a nutshell. Hopefully I went fairly fast, so I don't take up too much time, but we are passionate at the end of the day, with my manager, Ken Friend, with my colleague, Matt Gaskin, and I, and the whole Northrop Grumman team. We are committed and passionate about helping our transitioning service members and veterans find rewarding career opportunities for them and to support their families.
Thank you, Brian. That was great. I'm so glad you shared the presentation. Since Ken's not with us and Matt is not with us as well, it's perfect that you were able to take a little bit of the time that they would have had and share that, really valuable presentation and all that information. And I'm going to have a question for you in a second, but I do want to go back to Henry here and kind of, as I was looking through the chat and I'm seeing we have someone that's interested in architecture as a career, for example. Could you tell us a little bit about, since in your many years with Wells Fargo, what have you seen in terms of careers or occupations you wouldn't necessarily expect? We know that there are, I think you talked about the teller positions and such and so on. Are there any positions that you would say that are kind of off the beaten track, or to give us a sense of some of the unusual occupations that you also hire for, if any? And just kind of curious about the range of different kinds of opportunities, if there are some things people wouldn't automatically think of.
Definitely. Well, there's so many different lines of businesses here at Wells Fargo, and actually, we did have a team. It was for a green initiative in regards to architecture of our branches going more green, and how to assess those skills, and helping out our community have a decreased carbon footprint. So in that aspect, Wells Fargo did recruit architects, even just in general, just getting all these people together to help out with that going green. And they're still doing it. So, just little by little, obviously, with COVID happening, that kind of was on, backtrack. But with that said, we do have branches that are going more green, and kind of like reassessing what our current branches are at, and, kind of transforming that into a more greener, I guess you could say, way of things at the branch. But I guess in a way, like a beaten off the track position where people don't really think about, but Wells Fargo does have several museums. We have one here in downtown LA on 3rd and Grand, and we also have one, of course, in San Francisco where our headquarters is at. And people don't realize that Wells Fargo they hire the orators and people giving tours throughout the museums and talking about the history of Wells Fargo and being a part of the communities. And when I tell people that, they're just like, really? Like, wow. And so, yeah, those are, different kinds of, positions. And just yesterday, I had a candidate who's interested in like marketing, but it's a different type of marketing she was interested in. I told her, like, Wells Fargo we have the credit cards, the debit cards, we have a whole team. I used to sit with them in downtown LA where they would, have the community vote on various, like, say, for instance, we just had Dia de los Muertos and Hispanic Heritage Month, and they would have contests for people to submit any like visual or pictures or any art in those regards for that particular event. And that team comes together and they submit that, and they choose the top 3 to 5 prints, and we have our employees and, of course, our members vote on that. So just different types of lines of businesses here where you can be a part of.
That's great. That's really cool. Okay, wonderful. And something else that Brian brought up, I wanted to ask you about as well, and ask you both, maybe Henry first, about internships. And are there certain age limits, or does someone have to be enrolled in an accredited college or university or education program? What about, do they have to be a certain age, and are they paid internships? Does Wells Fargo offer internships as well as a way into the whole pipeline?
Yes, they do. We just ended one of our cohorts just this past summer, and it was an internship. It was paid, and they go through all the training or whatnot. And the next step from there, it is a performance-based internship. So depending on how well they do during the internship, they are actually moved over to the next round, which is to be interviewed for an actual position here with Wells Fargo. So yes, we do have internships going on throughout the year. Before the pandemic hit, I was part of the campus recruiting internship program, and I was sourcing and reaching out to university students in North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. And so, with that said, from there, dependent on what they wanted to, what kind of internship or what program they wanted to go into, then I went ahead and passed them over to that particular program coordinator, and they went forward from there. So yes.
Are the internships exclusively for students, or also people who maybe adults returning to the workforce or whatever have you?
Both, actually. Yes.
Okay, wonderful, Henry. That's great. And Brian, what about at Northrop? You mentioned internships. Tell us a little bit if there are any age requirements or enrollment requirements, and are they paid internships or unpaid?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, the SkillBridge internships are for those still on active duty. So those are unpaid, right? Because they're already getting paid by the DoD. So those are unpaid. But we do have like Wells Fargo, a robust internship program, university recruiting team, which goes out to all the universities. They bring in about 1,600 over the summer, and they're all paid. And so they usually keep rotating each summer, each year. And then once they graduate, same thing, we do convert roughly about 80–90% of those into full-time offers. But from a veteran perspective, and basically what it is, those are internships for college students, people who are pursuing higher degrees. We also, that's why we target the Student Veterans of America, because that is, about 60% of students who are attending colleges right now are pursuing degrees in STEM. So STEM is a big one, business is big for us. So there are a lot of opportunities with internships. It's huge. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, wow, this is great information. I just want to give an opportunity to have any of our speakers just make any other comments or pose questions or anything like that, because we're going to go ahead and close our program, and then we're going to stop the recording, and then we will go ahead and come off of and come onto video for people who want to do a little bit of live networking after the recording has ended. So I'd like to just thank our speakers, our sponsors, our participants, and ask if any of our speakers, any final comments before we stop the recording and transition to more networking.
Hey, I'll just have one quick one. This is Brian again, and I just want to say thanks to all the speakers on this program, and thanks for all you do to help our veterans. I think that all veterans come in all different, locations and different wants, needs, and desires. So it takes a community, right? A true village. So I just wanted to put one thing, as when I was helping transitioning service members and veterans, I used the National Resource Directory because there is so much information out there for veterans. And so what I used when I was assisting our wounded Marines or wounded service members is use that National Resource Directory, and it provides resources, state, federal, local, employment, nonprofits. So it's and it's through the Department of Defense, so it's vetted resources. So just, if you need one place to go, I would do that in Military OneSource. But thank you to all, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. So great. Anybody else?
And then, yes, I just want to touch on, Brian did have a little logo of JBS SoCal. I'm actually the liaison here at JBS SoCal Wells Fargo as well. And it's a great program. If I recall correctly, it's about 6 to 8 weeks program where it's night classes because, the program realizes, people do have to work and everything like that. But what this program does, it helps learn about the banking system, how tellers act, the various products in the financial industry, whether it be checking, savings, credit cards, debit cards, all that stuff. And so this program helps them out. And after they finish the program, the next step from there is their graduation. And actually right after their graduation, there are a bunch of financial institutions, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, credit unions, and they go right into interviewing. So they're interviewing right on the spot after they graduate. And it's a great program. It is free. I don't quite remember what the qualifications are, but I know you do have to qualify to be a part of the JBS SoCal. But just want to throw that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the team also put in the chat our veterans guide that we created at the Alliance to help you connect to some of these resources, to be reminded of some of the speakers from today's program. So definitely click on that and save that from the chat. We've got some great links in here that will help you get access to more information. And we will be updating this with a lot of the resources that were mentioned on today's call. There is an event tomorrow for veterans here. NAVVETS is putting that on, and all are welcome to attend. And then there's a list of action steps and how you can get involved with the Alliance and take advantage of our free business assistance program. If you're interested in starting or growing a business, you can receive that free help to assist you in doing that. So with that, I want to just share that to thank everyone for participating, especially our veterans, for your service to our country. We're so very thankful and we salute you. When you hop off the Zoom, you'll receive a request to complete a post-program survey, and we encourage you to do that so that we'll know how we can improve and what your needs are into the future. We also have additional programs you can learn more about at thevalley.net/events. We have a Livable and Sustainable Communities Committee on November 17th, where we'll have the San Fernando Valley Council of Governments make a presentation about what they're all about since their founding. And then we'll have our annual board meeting December 15th, and our new board will be installed, and everyone is encouraged to come. It's in Calabasas, and that's how you can get to know the Alliance better. And then in January, we have a regional development conference all about architecture and real estate development. And we'll be talking about our real estate in the Valley and how we can build more housing from some of the retail and office space excess inventory that exists right now. So again, visit thevalley.net/events for more information on past programs, replays from programs, and future programs as well. And then to take advantage of our business assistance resources, you can visit thevalley.net/assistance. And with that, we wish you a blessed, safe, and abundantly prosperous Veterans Day, and we look forward to connecting with you all very soon. We can cease the recording now and begin the networking session.